Alright, now let's take a look at this type B form, which is a factorized form, by looking at this example. The steps are mainly the same, except for now we do not find the turning point first. Now let's take a look how to do this question. Similarly, we say that we look at the value of x squared. In this case, the value of x squared, if I were to expand it, I will have x squared plus dot dot dot. So this x squared tells us that it is positive, so I know that this is a minimum curve. Very good. So A is positive, minimum, I know it's minimum. So I know it's a U-shaped curve, U-shape. So now let's take a look on the next one. There's no way I can find the turning point first, so maybe I will try to find the x-intercepts. So we let y be 0, so then I can write y equals to x minus 2, x plus 3, and I replace the value of y. I erase y and then I put 0. So I know, oh, from here x minus 2 equals to 0, or x plus 3 equals to 0. And then later on when I solve, I know x is equals to 2, x is equals to negative 3. So I have 2 comma something, negative 3 comma something. Now this is the x-intercept, which means y is 0. So I know this is 0, this is 0. Now how does this help us? So let us try and draw the axis. Draw the axis. And very quickly, we draw the arrow. We say this is y, this is x, okay. This is x. And we can identify this point over here. So this is 2, this point is negative 3, and I know that it is a U-shaped curve. It's a U-shaped curve, which means it is something like this. Now how do I find the minimum point? Okay, before that, let us try and find the y-intercept, which is easy as well. Now y-intercept is to let x equals to 0. So again, I will write down the equation. And this time round, I erase x and then I put x is equal to 0. So 0 is here. This is 0, this is 0. And then I work it out. The number is negative 6. So I know that if I were to extend this line, and my y-intercept would be minus 6. Alright, so we have a few critical points. I know my curve is something like that, but I need to know my minimum point. So minimum point is by making use of the x-intercept. Now how do I do by using the x-intercept? Now we know that minimum point must be the average of these two x coordinate. So I have my first one here, the second one here. So it must be in between these two. So to do that, very simple. I will say x1 plus x2 divided by 2. In this case, I will take 2 plus negative 3 over 2. And over here, I will have negative half. So I know that my x coordinate would be minus half something. Now how do I find this value of y? Very simple. I just need to subtract into the equation. Now let me write my equation here. Y equals to x minus 2, x plus 3. So I need to sub x equals to negative half, and then I will have the value of y. So this is negative half minus 2. This is negative half plus 3. Now I press my calculator. I will have negative 2.5. And over here I will have 2.5. So very quickly, when we work out the answer, this is 6.25, which is negative. So this is negative 6 1/4, negative 6 1/4. So we know that it's slightly below 6, and my curve will look something like that. Now last but not least, we look at the line of symmetry. Now this is the same as the complete the square form, which means I will need to look at my turning point. So my turning point is negative half, negative 6/4, and this x equals to negative half will be my line of symmetry. So over here, I will draw the curve. So let me try and draw a smooth curve. So it will look something like that, and this is my line of symmetry. Now notice that this is not a very good curve because the distance here and distance here, this is longer, so this is shorter, and this is not a good curve. So make sure when you draw, it must be this mirror line, x equals to negative half, must be the middle of these two. So try ourselves now and draw a nice curve. Now let's recap on what we have learned. So first, when we look at the factorized form, again there are 5 steps, slightly longer. So let me turn on the cursor. Now when I look at this, same thing, I will need to determine whether is it minimum or maximum. Number 2, I will need to determine the x-intercept first. So once you found the x-intercept, go on and find the y-intercept. In this case, after I find this is negative 6, I know my y-intercept is 0, negative 6. Then I will go on and find the minimum or maximum point. In this case, this x is to take the average of these two x value. Once I found it, then I will take this value, substitute into the x value of the curve to find the value of y. So once I have this, I know my turning point is minus half, negative 6 1/4, and I can quickly mark my point here. Don't forget to label your point, so it should look something like minus half, minus 6/4. Now lastly is to find the line of symmetry. Again, it is the x coordinate. So this is my final curve, just that my final curve now is not very nice. It's wrong because this is smaller, this is longer, bigger. So make sure when you draw it correctly. So this length and this length should be about the same. Similarly, this length and this length should be about the same. Okay, so now it's your turn to try.